Well, hello there and welcome back to this F1 2017 Sab Career Mode. We're at the RedBull Ring in Austria for round 9 of Season 3. I've already got over the disappointment of Baku, one of those races where you just forget about it and move on to the next one. Practice sessions are all done, got some good news about that. And now we're qualifying, we're ready to do qualifying state. It's absolutely hissing down with rain outside, which is going to be very nice. So we'll listen to the voicemail and see what the objective is that the team have set. 18th and beat Magnussen. Magnussen is our new rival. We saw Grosjean off and in the practice after the qualifying session in Baku, so now we've got his teammate to beat. Yeah, so it's heavy rain in qualifying, but it should be dry for the race. So first thing I do, the R&D tree. Both parts have come in. You can see the progress history here. Let's have a look in the last race. Force India and Renault have made a little bit of a jump, and we've made a massive one. Both of our major and minor upgrades came in on the chassis, which was this one here, the weight reduction, cockpit padding, and the major for the heat dispersing wheel rims. And as you can see on the right hand side, we are now clearly the best team in the chassis performance comparison. So we've only got one more on the chassis now, and that's this one here, another major upgrade. We're 427 points into 900, so we won't be able to do it this time, but we'll be able to do it after the next race, which I believe will be Silverstone round 10, unless I'm wrong. And once we get that done, and hopefully it will come in, then we can move away from the chassis, because I'm going to be waiting to do the ultimates once I've unlocked 20 classic car events, and we're only on 14. So after that major, we then come out of here and we go across to the powertrain and we start knocking away at this, because obviously we've now managed to get these 40% cheaper in total, so we'll be able to smash on these into season 2, and of course any sponsor bonus we get we'll save and then use to chip away at here as well. So ideally at the end of the season we won't do 6 classic car events by the end of the season, so going into season 4 I will just have these 3 ultimate ones to do. Hopefully going into season 4 we'll have all the minor and the major ones done over here as well, and then we're just waiting to do the ultimates, and then we can chip on with the aero. So we're starting to get there now, which is nice. So yeah, the chassis, as you can see there, is almost now completely done. We're the third worst team. We're now legitimately ahead of Haas, so the next step is to get ahead of Toro Rosso and Williams in the next few races. As for the power units, we're now on to power units number 3 for everything, qualifying and the race. Number 1s are now pretty much knackered and are not good enough, and I only really use them for the like FP1 for the track acclimatization, and then unit number 2 for FP2 and FP3. Gearbox, onto the third one. I took a new one, just why not, after the penalties at Baku. So we've got 3 gearboxes here. That will take us nicely to the end of the season. So we'll go to qualifying then. I won't show you much highlights from Q1 or Q2. I'm expected to get through into Q3. It's heavy rain. I'm good in the wet compared to the AI cars. So hopefully we can get a nice grid spot inside the top 10. So there we go then, there's Q1. A bit lucky there actually, we just managed to get in by a 10th of a second. My first lap was okay, and then my second lap I failed to improve, and then going around the beginning of my third lap, by the time I got to turn, I think 3, I was almost over a second quicker than before, and then I made a mistake, went off the track, and I thought, you know what, that's okay, I'll end it there, because I should be safe enough to get through. So I can definitely go a lot quicker than 14th. In fact, I can definitely get myself well inside the top 6, I think. So we're still finding our feet. I've done no wet running around Austria yet so far, but very lucky there. Almost got knocked out in Q1. Kvyat, Grosjean, Van Dorn, Verline and Stroll are the unfortunate 5 that have been eliminated. So now we'll move on to Q2. I'm pretty confident I can get a low 18, which will put me where? Let's have a look. Where will a low 18 put me? Woohoo! Right near the front. That's very good. So Vettel was quickest in Q1, the only guy to get in the 17s, but I'm pretty sure I can get mixing up with the big boys up here in Q2. So Q2 ends and 18.6 has seen us fairly comfortably through into Q3. It's not like Canada, unfortunately, where we were going for the front of the grid. Some of the guys are now into the low to mid 17 or mid 17s now, and we're struggling in the mid 18s. So hopefully we can maybe get into like the top 6. I'm not expecting pole position here, but we've made it through back into Q3 after missing out in Baku. So we've got good pace in the wet, which is fine. So we'll move on to Q3 now and see what we can do. So both the Ferraris, both the Mercedes, both the Force Indias, both the Red Bulls, myself and Hulkenberg in the top 10 shootout, which means we've lost Magnussen in 11th, Massa in 12th, Palmer 13th, Alonso 14th, and a Toro Rosso of Carlos Sainz in 15th. So then top 10 shootout, let's see what we can do around the Red Bull Ring in the heavy rain. Let's come out the final corner. We're just going to put us initially It puts us second. Look at that, P2, but 7/10 off of Hamilton. So that's better than we expected. Yeah, this lap wasn't as good. But we've crossed the line now. This is it. Final stab at it. So there we go then. The third and final lap. I managed to improve a little bit, but I had the pace in the car there to get probably a very high 17, which may have put me about, well, 6th place, I reckon, ahead of Perez and Verstappen. But I'm not too despondent with 8th place. Our pace in the dry in the practice sessions was okay. We were sort of mixing around sort of anywhere from about 8th to about 12th. So I think if we manage to get the strategy right in the race and get a clean start, which we do need, then I still think a handful of points is on. But Hamilton's taken pole with Raikkonen second, Vettel in third, and we've managed to out-qualify Ocon and Hulkenberg. So I'm not too displeased with 8th place. It's a good result, and but you know, don't get any prizes for qualifying. It's all about the race. So we'll go and see what we can do, and hopefully score some good points after the disappointment last time out at Baku. So the resource points for qualifying, this should be a nice healthy amount. Hopefully 105, which is the maximum we can get. It is, brings us up to 552. And a rivalry update as well, we out-qualified Magnussen, so that's quite good as well. Completely qualifying, yes, but we don't get a tick for it. That's strange. Okay. The reputation's gone up a little bit, which is nice. Obviously, we've had a couple of poor races recently, so that's why it's dropped down quite a lot. So we'll listen to the voicemail then for the race, see what the objective is, with a nice sunny weather outside. 15th and beat Magnussen. I think it's quite achievable. So we'll have a quick look at the laptop. Oh, there we go. It's come in now. Yeah, I am 2-0 against Magnussen. Not much else to look at, I don't think. These bits are fine, aren't they? 8% on the power unit, and all these are in the 11, 14. Yeah, we're going to be fine. Right then, so we'll go to the race, and we'll see what we can do from 8th place on the grid.
With that then, let's run through the grid order. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, edging out Raikkonen, who'll start P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Bottas, Daniel Ricciardo and Perez, Verstappen and Sauber, Ocon and Nico Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Massa, Jolyon Palmer and Alonso, Sainz, Grosjean, Stoffel Van Dorn and Pascal Wehrlein. Stroll and Daniel Kvyat completes the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So the grid order hasn't changed apart from Daniel Kvyat has a grid penalty or two. Oh, fuel load warning. No, we want extra laps. Oh god, how many extra laps can we get? Oh, 3.9, that's not too good. Right, starting in the ultras, going on to the softs. Okay. So ultras to supers doesn't seem to be a viable strategy then. 14 laps on the ultras, 22 on the softs. I think I'm tempted to maybe mix that around a little. Well, we are near the front, aren't we? So we're starting in 8th place. It'd be nice to know what other tyres everyone is starting on around us as well. But I think ultras to softs. We could go for something completely different, but we are starting quite high up the grid, so I do think I need ultras onto softs is probably the best strategy to go for. Two-stop strategy is, what's that, 2 and a bit seconds slower. Ultras, supers. There's not much difference, is there, actually? A 2.2 second difference between the ultras and between the two-stop and the one-stop. We could go aggressive for a two-stop for a bit of a laugh. We are in 8th place, so it does depend what we can do. Yeah, okay, I'll tell you what, we'll go for that one then. We can change it as we go during the race, so we'll go for the two-stop strategy. It's only a couple of seconds slower. Yeah, okay, then we'll go do that then and see what we can do. So we'll do the formation lap, get that out of the way, and then get this race on the go from 8th place. Okay, here we are on the grid. Bottas, I know, has gone super softs, but we're on the ultras. Build the revs up. The lights go out now. It's a good start. We're going to get the jump on Verstappen. Keep it clean into turn 1. Oh, ho, ho. That was leery. 5th place though. See if we can try and get past Bottas early on. He's on the supers. Oh, that was late into turn 2. But we'll squeeze him out. That's P4. Great start. So ending lap 1, still in 4th place. We've got Bottas hunting us down, even though he's on the supers. I want to kind of keep him behind me for as long as possible. Until lap 3, DRS will now be enabled. Bottas is still with us. So we've got to try and defend from him if we can. He might get a run on us. Lucky for Hulkenberg, out the race early. We're still getting DRS from Vettel ahead of us, but Bottas, I believe, is right behind us. He is. He's going to try it into turn 1. Not much I can do about that, but if I can stay with Bottas at least. Sort of slipping back here early on. Problem with Austria is it's a power circuit with all these long straights, and we are down on power compared to all these guys. I mean, you've got the Ferraris and the Mercedes engines around us, so there's not much we can do. Just got to try and pick our moments. Oh, Ocon, Perez, I should say, is locked up a little bit. We've done well to avoid him, but we'll nip back past him into 5th. And Perez is going to try it into this corner as well. Oh, we're going to hang it around the outside if we can. Don't squeeze us, you fucker. We've got DRS back off him again, but now we've got the likes of Ocon and the Red Bulls behind us as well, so we're going to be battling these guys, I think, for the majority of the race. Now we've got Ocon around our outside as well. I managed to outdrag him for now, but we might have to defend the inside again from him. It's good fun though, I am enjoying it. Defending the inside line again from Ocon. All these Mercedes powered cars around me. Give him space on the exit. We outdrag him initially, but we're going to have to defend again, as he's now got DRS. Oh, he's locked up. See you later, fella. So quick check in the tyres at the beginning of lap 8, 27% on the front tyres. These start to go off around about the 40% mark. You really start to feel the graining. So I reckon probably lap 12 or 13, as we make a bit of a mess of turn 2, will be the time I'm in. Here comes Ricciardo up the inside. Leave the braking as late as possible. So we're into lap 11. Still got everyone behind me, and here comes Ricciardo through now. And the tyres are already starting to go off. We have saved all of our fuel though. I'm planning on running rich mix on the second stint. Let's see if we can get past back Ricciardo into turn 2. Oh, here comes Verstappen though, so I think I'll think better of it. Being swamped by the Red Bulls here. But Ricciardo's through, but we see Verstappen off. Probably be pitting in at the end of this lap, to be honest. Verstappen again, he locks up, so that's forced us a little wide. It's all kicking off. Box, box, box is the team, so in I come. Let's get this right as Verstappen tries to nip at our heels. Not bad entry as well. So this is our first of 2 pit stops then. We're going on to another set of ultras. When we come out, we'll bush it into rich mix and see if we can get a nice little undercut on some of these midfield guys. So a few others made a pit stop as well. Ocon for another set of ultras, so it looks like he's on the 2-stop strategy as well. So now we'll chuck it into rich mix and we'll try to pick our way through these back markers. First up's Van Dorn. Nicely done. Now we've got Stroll, who started on the soft tyres. Superior grip advantage. Through we go. We've got Ricciardo ahead of us. He's battling. He's also on the ultras. So the guys that I was around look like they're on the same strategy as me, the 2-stop. Should be able to. He hasn't got DRS, we have. So it should be quite an easy move into turn 1. And it is. So 15th place, having fun moving through the slower cars. And Stroll has an issue with his car, but that won't affect us, he's already behind us. Oh, a little bit of contact. No harm, no foul. So some people have made pit stops. We're now back inside the top 10 in 10th. Not too sure who's made a pit stop and what tyres they're on. All I know at the moment, Ocon and Ricciardo, who were around me before the pit stops, are on a similar strategy to me. So I think we're going to be battling cars throughout this race. So into lap 18, half distance. We're in 8th place now, because Magnussen and Palmer have made a pit stop in the last 2 laps. Me and Ricciardo, the gap staying the same between us, but we are both catching whoever is in 6th. I'm not too sure how many people ahead of us have made a pit stop and what tyres they're on. Well, that's a Toro Rosso, he definitely hasn't pitted yet, so I think we're in a net 7th so far. Through we go. Might have made a little bit of contact there, not too sure, but no damage done. And that's P7, but we're getting close to our second pit stop now in a lap or 2. Right then, here we go then, our second stop. Let's see where we rejoin and let's see how many positions we can get back. Oh, we got the jump on Ricciardo. Tasty. And right in 10th place then between Magnussen and Palmer, who are on the soft tyres. So that's a nice getting jump over Ricciardo there. To DRS. Come on, Ferrari power. Nice. 8th place then. Someone's made a pit stop. Well, good exit out of turn 1 then. Up the inside into turn 2. And we get the DRS to pull away as well. So that's us up to 7th place. Verstappen up ahead is on the soft tyres. I think it might be a tall order to try and catch and pass him. So I think we're looking at a net 7th place once all this is over. So into lap 32 then. I've actually managed to chip away at Verstappen's lead and bring it down from 6.9 to 4.4. But I don't think I'm going to catch him in time. The problem I've now got though is Verstappen's teammate Ricciardo there has managed to move up to 8th and he is catching me. So this 7th place unfortunately isn't safe just yet. Might have to do a bit of defending work against Danny Rick in the last couple of laps. So 2 laps to go. That's Verstappen ahead. 2.9 now, and the gap to Ricciardo is 2.1. So we're doing enough at the moment to see Danny Rick off. I've also got probably half a lap's worth of rich mixed fuel available if I need it. But I think as long as we keep going like this, we should be safe in 7th. So then into the final lap. The gap between myself and Ricciardo is about 1.4 now. But I don't think he's going to be close enough. Just a couple of corners to go. He's not close enough, so as long as you don't make a mistake, you should be alright. Out to 4th gear, clip the apex, run it a little wide. Yep, 7th place. Not a bad job. So yeah, pretty happy with that. You can see there that the 1-stop strategy was probably the quicker one of the 2. But the 2-stop enabled us to have a bit of an entertaining race. It was quite nice early on, defending from some of the quicker guys. I know we lost a few positions early on, but that was always going to happen, I think, on a power circuit like the RedBull Ring. And then carving our way back through the field after our first pit stop was nice. And then a late charge there to try and catch Verstappen. We ended up, what was that, 4.6 seconds off. Tyres were going off a little bit, and I was sort of more focusing on defending from from Ricciardo. But yeah, happy with that. 6 points. Nice bounce back from the disappointment of Baku. Bottas wins then with Raikkonen second. Hamilton, who did do 2 stops from pole, has ended up in third. Perez, good run to him from fourth. And then Vettel, Verstappen, ourselves, Ricciardo, Ocon and Grosjean picks up the final point. Further down, Sainz, Magnussen, Palmer. Verline was 16th, but a lap down. So he managed to beat Massa, Van Dorn and Stroll, who I think had an engine problem early on. And Hulkenberg was the only retirement, and I think his happened on, lap 2 or lap 3 or something. So pretty clean race from everyone and very entertaining from us. So yeah, very happy with that. We'll have a look at the standings then. Bottas extends his lead. He's now 18 points ahead of Vettel. Raikkonen jumps Hamilton into third, and Perez jumps Verstappen into 6th. We closed the gap a little bit onto Ocon for 8th place, and that is my target, 8th. I can't get any higher than that unless something amazing happens. Grosjean, another point, sees him well in 10th place. And then further down, not much else has changed with the guys at the bottom of the standings. In the constructors, Mercedes now hold a 16-point lead over Ferrari. Red Bull, of course, safe in third, 109 back. Force India safe in fourth, and now there's just 4 points between Renault in 5th, Haas in 6th, and ourselves in 7th. And then a big gap back to Toro Rosso in 8th, McLaren and Williams in 9th and 10th, both on 4 points. So then the resource points for the race should be a nice healthy amount. 105 takes us up to 657. And then the first driver bonus as well. Good practice and qualifying and race as well to be on the 60 points on the board there. The rivalry update, we've done very well with that against Magnussen. So we're already 4 points to the good. And the team approval would have continued to rise again. Hopefully that now puts us at the top of the purple. Looks like maybe just one more away, but still looks good. And then the career score for the weekend, good practice, qualifying and race to be honest, so this will be a very nice amount. 16,016 points. I think now, is that the highest I've had now? I'm not too sure, but still doing very well this season. And that's it. We haven't got a classic car event or nothing else to worry about. I haven't got enough resource points, unfortunately, to do the final major upgrade. That will probably be, well, I'll definitely have enough to do it after the next race. I could, if I wanted to, move over here to the powertrain and get this done, but I want to get the final major one done. And if that one does come in there, if it will go, there we go. You can see the little green line there by the team name will extend quite a lot, and we could be, you know, well clear as the best team with the chassis. And then we can leave that alone and then focus on the powertrain. Not much else to look at. We'll look at the competencies. Yeah, we're still 17 races away from unlocking a 15% bonus on the first driver bonus, which will probably give us around about, I don't know, 85 to 90 points per race extra, or resource points extra. And you can see here we're 14 out of 20 on the classic car event, so that won't come in. Neither of these will come in until probably mid-season in season 4, which is a shame. So probably by the time we get round to that, I'll have all the ultimate upgrades ready to go on the chassis and the powertrain, and we'll already be knocking away at the aero. As you can see, the aero is the worst by quite a considerable distance, but I don't think it will take too long. You know, if you knock these 5 out here, we'll probably be up with Haas, get a couple of majors, and we'll be up with Toro Rosso and maybe Force India. So I think probably by the time we get down to round about here at halfway, we'll probably be right up with the likes of Red Bull and Mercedes, and then we can knock these big ones out. So it's not too much of a problem at the moment. The powertrain, of course, we're quite a way back on that, but I think once we've done the majors or the minors by the end of this season, we should be around about where Toro Rosso and Renault are. And then obviously the major and the ultimates. I don't think, unlike the chassis, once we get all the powertrain done, we'll be the best team with the engine. I think probably once it's all done, we might be tied with, let's say, Mercedes, who have probably still got a few more upgrades to go themselves. As for the aero, I'll be expecting to take the lead in that eventually once I get all this done. And the chassis, we know we are well in the lead in that already, so that's nice. Not much else to look at then. All these units here, they're pretty nice, and they'll be used for qualifying in a race next time out. The next race is Silverstone, my home race end, and it will be the halfway point of this season, so looking forward to that. I quite like Silverstone, so I'll be expecting to get through to Q3 and score some good points as well, as long as it all goes clean. And this race, yeah, very nice actually. It was probably one of the most enjoyable races I've done. Lots of overtaking, some good battles. I had really good pace throughout the race, barely made any mistakes. If I did, I might have run wide once or twice. And yeah, maybe the 2 stop was the wrong way to go. I think maybe on the 1 stop we might have had Verstappen, but I think probably 6 was the best we could have done. You could see how slow we were in the opening laps compared to like the Ferraris, Mercedes and the Force Indias as well. We just didn't have enough speed to keep ahead of them. But I'm happy with 7th at a place like that, and it's a good result after the Baku one. So thank you very much for watching this episode if you have, and hopefully I'll see you all for the next one very soon.